Hello people, this is Darren Dioju here with a control group update. So, we have to do a bit of filtering here because we've had a lot of sign-ups. Not everybody using their name, the given name. And I've had inquiries from people who have signed up saying, I want to remain anonymous. I don't want to be on a government hit list. This has caused a lot of conversation between me and some of the others, medical professionals and other people I'm taking advice from on the control group. And frankly, this cannot be catered to. If this is not issue enough for you to stand up and stand up proud, then what is? If this is not an issue for you to step out from behind the rock, then what is? Because here is the truth. If you put down some mumbo jumbo name, or you want the list to be anonymous, then I go to the government with a list and say, well, here's 3 million names. And they're like, how do we know there's not 2 million Africans and half a million Brazilians? How do we know they're not all fake names? We lose all credibility because of fear. And if I pander and cater to this fear, then it's just going to be replaced by another fear. Because when you're moved by fear, then all you're going to get is more fear. So if it wasn't the name on the list, then it might be giving away location. If it wasn't location, it might be something else. And the decision has been made just to not pander to fear at all. If you're coming from fear, then the control group is not the place for you. Now, the government already know that you have not taken the vaccine. If you have been sent invites and you've refused them, then they already know you've not taken it. Now, to kind of be hiding behind a rock when you've refused invites is a bit like a toddler going, you can't see me, you can't see me. You're seen. You're just kidding yourself on that it's not visible. Just the fact of the matter is that unvaccinated people are not currently being chased down yet. Maybe they never will be. Maybe it'll be fine. But the bottom line remains that for me and for the others involved in helping to set up a safe and credible control group to both, maintain an actual modicum of science rather than belief and trust here, as well as safeguard the gene pool of humanity in case there is a horrendous mistake here. In consultation with all of us, fear-based positioning is not it. If you need to hide, then go and hide. If you wish to take a stand, then come, take a stand. But turn up as you are, as who you are. Wear your uniform from work. If you're going to go to a march, wear your work uniform. Because the world needs to see that it's not just a bunch of keyed-up, drunken hippies that want to rave their way down the street screaming freedom. That is no credible counterpoint to the mass media narrative that's being propagated every single day. Turn up in your work uniform. I mean, all the state has to do at the minute is take a picture of the drunken ravers coming down the street yelling freedom and screaming abuse at the police and say, look at these people that are allegedly protesting for freedom. They are not credible producers. They're not adding to society. Look at them. They're just a bunch of drunken party heads, which is what the pictures that get taken are of. But if we had groups of credible professionals wearing their attire saying, I am scared and I am here because this is real and I am willing to stand up and show that I am not some lout or some taker of that's just milking benefits. I am here with valid concerns. That helps create a credible and solid impression for the world that gives the control group and the rest of the pro-safety movement a leg to stand on. Second point, a lot of people are asking me, what's moved? What's happening? Okay, I am a father of 4 children. I run a couple of businesses. I run a mentoring business as well as retreats and stuff like that. All my businesses are going through great expansions at the minute and they're doing well, completely unrelated to the control group, just due to effort put in. Now, I am busy and have full days and I'm doing what I can and hiring what I can. I've milked my businesses as I can to get it to this stage where you hear about it and there's a website and there's leaflets and all this sort of stuff. But I can't do everything. And if, when you hear a wolf pack howl or dogs start howling, then it's not just one dog howling and all the others going, oh, well, look, there's great, there's a dog howling, brilliant. Another dog takes up the howl. in their own way, in their own voice, and howls. And then another dog that hears them howls, and they add their howl instead of like muttering around, oh, what's that howler doing? I've not heard anything from that howler for ages. Oh, bloody howler, I can't rely on him. I am doing my utmost and I'm doing my best, and I've poured my resources into this. There is a credible stance that can be taken here, but unless people who also have full lives and have full days are willing to make time for this fight, for the genetic well-being of the future of our species, and for the ongoing freedom of the people, what on earth can any of us do? You're waiting for a saviour. Do you know what I mean? You're hiding there waiting for a saviour. The thing about marches is a march has purpose, and it has individuals who are all aligned in purpose. If you are aligned in the purpose, then sing the same song. Don't blur it with other songs. Don't muddy the waters. Don't confuse it. Let's get behind a single cause. If you've got a better cause, then let me hear it. Let me hear it. Let's have it. I've heard all sorts of stuff like run away and set up communities, do this, that and the other. Yeah, they're valid causes. I would consider them if I wasn't so invested in this land, in these people of this land, in my family growing up in this fine land that has the, medical and global tyranny seeking to break the rules of science for the benefits of basically profit at the end of the day, without concern and without liability for the potential harms they might cause. That's what's motivating me to stick it out here. If there aren't enough wolf howls picking up after mine, then why would I keep baying into the night? I'm just going to go myself. Do you know what I mean? Gather up my resources, take my loved ones, and find a hidey hole like so many friends of mine are talking about doing. I don't want to do that. Why? Because I think this is being perpetrated by a bunch of idiots. I don't think it is actually as well constructed as it is executed. It's being excellently executed, but there's massive holes, and this control group is the biggest hole. If you want to help make the control group happen and be a real thing, sign up honestly. Offer some time to add your howl by talking about it, explaining it. The premise is really simple. Without a control group, it isn't science. And the grounds for the social pressures are twofold. There's two arguments here, because once we get into, I've been into a number of data exchanges, as I've mentioned before, and really what we're dealing with when we start talking about the data is we're talking about different people's measures of acceptable risk that will always be variable. What is an acceptable risk to me may not be an acceptable risk to you. So let's not talk data. Let's talk the two linchpins of the argument and the need for a control group. Number one is Nuremberg. And Nuremberg says that I do not have to submit myself to a medical treatment without my consent, especially an experimental one on healthy people. I think I mentioned it before, but experimental medicine is usually given to the people most at risk. You give an experimental cancer treatment to the people with a few months left to live because, on balance, it's all right. They've got nothing to lose. A healthy population has a lot to lose, not from short-term effects, from long-term compound effects that we do not know yet. Which brings me to the second point that we rest this control group on, and the need for it is that no one can have absolute certainty of safety. Thalidomide. Those doctors professed and believed in absolute safety, and even after deformed kids were born, they were saying, it's not our drug. It took 5 years to prove it. 5 years of horrifically deformed, beautiful, innocent human beings born because these so-called medical professionals were convinced of safety when they had zero evidence. We are in exactly the same boat for long-term effects here. Those are the two grounds for the control group: Nuremberg and the inability of anybody to be able to offer absolute safety, especially when there's no liability there. Those two grounds mean that having a control group is not anti-anything. It's, do you know what, let's wait and see. And I know plenty of people who have signed up to the control group who are saying, well, in 5, maybe 10 years' time, as long as it's all okay, then I would take the shot. But this is not 5 or 10 years down the line. This is early days. So if you haven't already, in thecontrolgroup.com, you can sign up there. Yes, it's simple. Yes, it's not perfect, but it's there and it's functional. It will really help to have a long list of names of people who want to be in a control group, or even if they don't want to be in it, think we should have one. The longer that list is, the better the chance is of getting this out there and getting it credible. The other thing that needs to happen is it needs to be disseminated. It needs to be shared. There needs to be a media, what's the word for it? Almost like a media hearts and minds battle already underway before I even knock on the door of number 10. Because without that one, this will just disappear. It needs to be mentioned in numerous places so it cannot be disappeared. That is what I'm asking for if you wish to help make this happen. Otherwise, if you have other questions or concerns, I'm happy to address them. But meanwhile, just to let you know, things are continuing as stated and planned. The control group, its structure and planning are underway. It's not perfect because of the level of detail some people are seeking, but it's underway because everyone has busy and full lives and they're doing it when and as they can. Unlike the media and the government who are paying people 9 to 5 to deliver these messages 37.5 hours a week. This is the best we've got. If you think you can help, if you think it needs to happen faster, get on board, bring your voice, bring your time, sit up till 3 in the morning like some of us do, and do it then. Because we're all busy, we've all got full lives, we're all concerned, but this is how making a stand happens. It means you make the time and you make the effort. And that is what I am inviting and asking of you as I offer to continue my service and continue my offering to really make this real and happen. And just to let you know, there's development and other conversations happening behind the scenes to try to keep you genuinely safe, in terms of genetically safe, in terms of reassurance safe. Behind the scenes. Thank you.